Hello, my name's Hannah, and my people watching are my brother Jaden, his wife Breely,
Hello.
and my brother Zane. And my topic is over the donation of organs or like organ transplants. So, my first slide is so, what is organ donation? And does society benefit from it? Now, the people that are listening to my oral presentation, they all know what organ donation is and or transplant. And so organ donation is the act of transplanting organs from a cadaver, a dead person, into a living person. This can be done for a number of reasons, and as humans, we get sick and it could lead to issues down the line like organ failure. Sorry, I need to wear my glasses. As our resources and knowledge on these transplants progress, we can expect to see more positive outcomes of transplant patients. I think only a couple of us may maybe know one person that has had a transplant. I can't name that person off the top of my head. And so, why is organ transplant so important to me and not only to society? A single person can save up to 8 lives with the donation of organs, and roughly 17 people die a day while waiting for organs. And over 100,000 people are waiting in line, technically, to get an organ. That's a lot of people. And did you know that someone is added to the organ transplant list every 8 minutes? Somebody just got added. You don't know that. And now, moving on to the next slide. Why do some families tend to keep their loved ones' organs intact? Why do some families choose to not donate their loved ones' organs? And this could be a couple of reasons. The family isn't ready to let go. That's their loved one. They could have watched them died, or, it could have been something so traumatic. Religious reasons, and, maybe not enough knowledge on the organ transplants. And, maybe just not having trust in the medical, profession of organ donation. And the thought of organ donation could be seen as, inhumane. But personally, I don't see it as inhumane, but I know that there are other people out there that, could see it as inhumane. My brother over here, kind of, he's not really for it. He doesn't really understand it, so that's another reason why I had him join this. And so my next slide, I've come up with some, quotes that I have dragged off of websites. Organ donation, where selflessness meets the miracles of science, changing lives one gift at a time. Though through organ donation, we unlock the door to a new chapter where hope and gratitude intertwine. And my last quote is, through organ donation, we transcend our mortality and leave a lasting imprint on humanity. Possible outcomes if people decline against organ donation. If more and more people decide to not donate, we will have a rise in deaths, considering that over 100,000 people every year rely on an organ transplant. Medical professionals won't have anything to research for new medical practices in the future. Whether somebody has died and they donated their organs, even if a hospital is not going to use all of their organs, they can use their tissues or their bones, something out of a cadaver that could help us in future medicine. So, it's kind of selfish to kind of just hang on to that stuff when you don't need it. And lastly, kind of like my own personal slide at the end, just when you pass away, donate your organs. Call the DMV and tell them that you're an organ donor. You want to set that up. You don't need them when you pass away. That's really it. And lastly, on my slide, I have listed bibliography and some inspirational quotes by Gabriel Cruz. And if somebody was interested in the ethical controversies in organ donation, that could be, read up on, because, pediatric patients die too, and pediatric patients can be cadavers, just as adults can be cadavers too. So that's all that I have to say. And I appreciate my brother and my sister-in-law and my brother taking the time out of their very busy day to listen to my presentation.